Good morning students, welcome you all in the class of History Civics. Today I am here with a new topic from your history syllabus, and that is the first phase of Indian national movement. Okay, so listen carefully. Actually students, this national movement in India, it can be classified into three phases on the basis of their objectives as well as the methods of struggle, and these three phases are: first phase, the early nationalist or moderate phase, which just continues from 1885 to 1905. Okay, so during this time, these early nationalist leaders, they aimed to gain more concessions for Indians. They adopted purely constitutional, purely legal methods such as petitions, prayer and request. Okay, and they just made those demands in the form of resolutions and petitions. Okay, so this was the early phase, first phase of the national movement. Now second phase was aggressive phase, which continued from 1905 to 1919, and during this time the leaders, their aim was just to make the socio-economic and political progress of the people and just to lead towards the Swaraj as the ultimate goal. During this time, the leaders also decided Swaraj as the ultimate goal, and their methods included extremist measures such as Swadeshi boycott, national education, etc. Okay, now phase is the Gandhian phase, which continued from 1919 after the attainment of freedom, independence, means 1919 to 1947, and we all know in the year 1947 we got independence from the Britishers. Okay, so during this Gandhian era, complete independence, okay, was the chief aim, and the nationalist leaders, their methods included non-violence, okay, non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, satyagraha. So this was all about all the three phases. So first of all, we are going to discuss about the first phase, and this is the early nationalist phase, which continued from 1885 to 1905. Okay, 1885 was the year when Indian National Congress was founded, and this all we have discussed in the previous chapter. Okay, now the question arises, who were the early nationalists? So let us know who were the early nationalists or these moderates. So from 1885 to 1905, the Congress was led by a group of leaders who were known as moderates or early nationalists, and the popular leaders among these moderates were Dadabhai Naoroji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Firoz Shah Mehta, Surendranath Banerjee, Ras Bihari Bose, Ramesh Chandra Dutt, and Mahadev Govind Ranade, etc. Okay, and they were all educated Indians, English educated Indians, and they all were staunch believers in liberal and moderate approach in politics. They all supported the moderate and legal methods for attaining their goals. Okay, so this was all about the early nationalists. I think it is clear to you who were the early nationalist leaders. Okay, now let us know the objectives of these early nationalist leaders. So first object was to awaken and organize public opinion. Second, they wanted to arouse political consciousness and national spirit among the Indians. Then they wanted to educate the Indians, okay, politically, and they wanted to create a strong British public opinion in the favor of genuine grievances of the Indians, means they wanted that all the Indians should come together to put their grievances before the British government, and they also wanted to establish the form of self-government. Okay, so these were the objectives of the early nationalists. Now let us know about the beliefs of these early nationalists. Okay, so these early nationalists, they were the moderate leaders. They believed in the moderate and legal methods. So according to these moderate leaders, okay, moderate leaders, yeah, early nationalists, it is just same. Okay, so these early nationalists, their belief was that Britishers were just and freedom-loving people. Okay, and they had just abiding faith, blind faith in the British sense of justice and fair play, and they believed in the loyalty to British crown. Means they wanted to remain loyal towards the British crown, and they had a staunch belief, they had a firm belief in the British sense of honesty and justice. Okay, next, they also believed that simply by presenting and requesting their cases before the British government, British people, justice would be done to the Indians. Means it was their belief that if we honestly put our problems towards in front of the British rulers, British crown, then definitely they will solve our problems. And the Congress was proud of its British connections and looked to England for inspiration and guidance. And these leaders, they felt proud because why? Because they thought that they are having relations with the British government, and they also just wanted to get inspired, and they wanted to take guidance from the British crown. Okay, and they recognized the benefits of the English rule, especially the English language and modern means of transport and communication. Means it was their belief that British rule in India was in favor of the Indians. They also supported the introduction of modern means of transport and communication. They also supported the spread of English Western education, and they also were in favor of adopting English language, and they also tried to purge the society of its evils like sati, child marriage, untouchability, etc. At the same time, they also wanted to remove certain evils from Indian society, and according to them, it was possible only with the help of British rulers. Okay, and they believed in the national unity, liberalism, patience and reconciliation rather than in violence and confrontation. They were not in favor of adopting violent methods. They didn't want to have any struggle, any war with the Britishers. They were in favor of having patience. They were in favor of compromises rather than struggle. So these were all the beliefs of the early nationalist leaders. Okay, now children, let us know about the programs of the early nationalist leaders. So the Congress used to meet every year towards the end for 3 days or so. Towards the end of the year, the Congress used to have the session for 2 or 3 days continuously, and it would disperse after adopting certain resolutions and listing their demands, which can be classified into following categories. Now here in the session, Congress leaders used to enlist their demands, popular demands, which they wanted to pass over to the British officials. Okay, and these demands were categorized. So first of all, let us know about the political programs or the reforms which the early nationalists wanted in the political field. Okay, so listen about the political program of the early nationalists. These early nationalists, they demanded, क्या डिमांड की उन्होंने, that They wanted that Governor General's Legislative Council should be formed at the center, and they also asked for the expansion of provincial legislative councils, which was established under the Indian Council Act of 1861. They wanted to form Governor General's Legislative Council at center. At the same time, they wanted to extend the Provincial Legislative Council. Okay. Second demand, they wanted that more power should be given to legislative councils at the center as well as at the provinces also, so that they can discuss the budget also. Okay, and they wanted to abolish the Indian Council in England. Then they wanted to complete the separation of executive and judiciary, and they wanted to establish the colonial form of self-government in India, as in Canada and Australia it was already done. Canada and Australia, they were also the colonies of the Britishers. So here the self-government was introduced. So same, these early nationalist leaders wanted that British government should provide the local self-government here in India also. Okay, and they demanded for Indians control over public purses. They raised the slogan, no taxation without representation. Means they wanted, if the Indians will not get the representation in the council, then they will not pay any taxes. Okay, so these were the political demands, okay, which were made by the early nationalists. Now children, let us know about the administrative reforms which were suggested by these early nationalists. Okay, listen here. So the early nationalists included the following administrative reforms in their list. First, they wanted the wider employment to Indians in higher jobs under the government. Actually, the Indians were not appointed on the higher post. So they demanded the educated, the able Indians should be appointed in the higher jobs. And they also demanded the Indianization of civil services and simultaneous ICS examination to be held in England and India. Earlier, these examinations, they were held in England only. So it was very difficult for Indians to arrange to go England for giving such exams. So they demanded that these ICS exams, civil services exams, should be held in England as well as in India also. Okay, and they demanded the higher jobs to Indians in army. Then they also demanded the removal of Arms Act and License Act, and they also demanded the increase in the powers of local bodies, and they also demanded the reduction of official control on them. Okay, and they also wanted that the Indians should get adequate representation in the executive council of the viceroy and provincial governors. Means more and more Indians should be just represented, should represent the executive council of viceroy. And they also demanded the separation of executive and judiciary so as to protect the Indians from the arbitrary acts of police and bureaucracy. So they wanted that the Indians should be able to get the justice. That's why they wanted separation of executive and judiciary. And they also demanded to spread the primary, technical and higher education among the masses. And they also wanted some improvement in the police system to make it honest, efficient and popular. According to them, at that time there was lot of shortcomings in the police system. Okay, it used to torture the common people, so they demanded that there should be some improvement in the police system. They should be honest, efficient and popular among the masses. Children, this is all for today. In the next video, I will discuss with you the socio-economic demands and the demands related to civil rights and liberties and some methods of the early nationalists. Till then, have a good day.